Hey, Dan Meyer here, and I'm back once again with 5 more tips. And the tips today are for Filipino virtual assistants who are looking to be even more successful in landing business clients in the United States, right? Looking for American business clients. And today we're going to focus on the topic of limiting beliefs. And I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to conquer the 5 most common and limiting beliefs that I've seen come across in my 10 plus years of working with Filipinos that do outsourced work from the United States. These things really are very common among Filipino VAs, especially newbie VAs, and can really stop you from being successful. So you have to conquer these limiting beliefs. The belief that you don't know enough English, right? That you'll get nosebleed is the most common one I hear. Is people, when they become a virtual assistant, they want to be able to do something to contribute, but they're worried about conversing in English. They're worried about the client talking too much, too fast, sharing too much. And that does happen. A lot of times the best virtual assistants are ones that have had experience working with Americans already as they worked in a call center. You'll see a lot of people that work in BPOs end up eventually becoming virtual assistants. But that's not everyone. Even if you don't have the best English, you have to not limit yourself based on how well your English is spoken or understood, right? The fact that you're going to get nosebleed is okay. It's actually a good thing. You need to practice. You need to learn. English is the language of business around the world. Most Filipino VAs, when they communicate with their clients anywhere in the world, the common language is English. Same with OFWs, right? When a lot of OFWs go abroad, they have to use English to speak to the people they're working with. If they're domestic, servants, if they're working in a business, and whether it be shipping or engineering or working in an office or working in service industry, again, most of the bosses in most of the countries are going to speak English to most of the Filipinos. It's just the way it is. So you're going to have to get used to getting nosebleed. So get a box of tissue and be ready to just practice. That's the only way to get past this belief, right? You're never going to be perfect because you weren't born in an English-speaking country. There are some Filipinos that have pretty close to perfect English because they've been around a lot of people that speak English, or they go abroad, or they have a really good school. That's not the most Filipinos. Most Filipinos have good English, and that's good enough. The second most common limiting belief is I need a certification for that. I need a training for that. I need to have something I can show somebody that proves that I know what I know. This is really not even important for most Americans. Most Americans don't care if, where, what, when you went to school. If you tell them you went to UP, they're going to say, so what? If you tell them you went to some small, technical school in Mindanao, they're going to say, so what? They're not going to care. If you have online certifications, unless it's a very technical skill, like in some cases, they may want certain technical skills if you know how to do certain things for video editing or for web design. But for most virtual assistants, they don't care if you took a course in customer service. They don't care if you took a course in Canva. They care about one thing. Can you do the job that they want you to do? And they don't care how you learned it and how long ago you learned it, as long as you can do it. So the limiting belief that I can't take that job or I can't apply for that job because I don't have the right skills. Most Americans learn their job on the job training. Very few people get the training they need to be able to start day one in a job. It just doesn't happen here. We move too fast. Things just are expected to be self-taught. So you don't need a certificate. Repeat after me. I do not need a certificate to land a good VA job. Number 3, the client will train me. As related to this, a limiting belief is that I won't take that job if I don't get training, or I'm afraid I can't do well in that job if I'm not trained. And a common excuse will become, I didn't do well in that job. I got fired from that job because they didn't train me. It's not going to happen. I just mentioned why, right? Americans don't really put a lot of value in pre-hire training or onboarding. We just get in there and do the work, figure it out. You're smart, you're talented, you can do it. Right? That's the mentality we have, right? So you're going to have to self-train. Look for jobs that you either have skills in or know you can pick up, right? If you're good at video editing, but you've never used Filmora or Final Cut or Adobe Print, whatever one of the Premiere, whichever one you need to learn, just learn it, right? There are YouTube videos that are just thousands and thousands of videos on any topic you can think of that you'll get training. Sign up for a course if you have to. But self-training is the key. You're not going to get trained by your client. Number 4, another common belief that I hear that limits Filipino VAs is I'll just wait until they reply. And what this means is like, you're supposed to do something. The client gives you directions, but it's not complete. They say they're going to deliver something, they don't because they're too busy, they haven't got back to you. So you just sit and do nothing. The last thing that is going to help you be successful is taking money without doing the work. Now, I don't mean you're being dishonest, but I see a lot of Filipino VAs who will just sit and not do anything because they're not sure what to do, and they don't ask. They're afraid, they're embarrassed, they're just not sure how it will go. If that's the situation you're in, you're better off finding another job. Working for a client who's not clear about what they want, isn't organized enough to give you regular work, and isn't easy to communicate with, is never going to work out. It's not going to just change someday, right? You're just setting yourself up for failure. And this leads a lot of Filipinos, when they are in this situation, to just wait for work. And it ends up going badly because the American's not going to pay the Filipino for not doing something. So you're going to get in arguments over like, well, did you do the work? And you're going to say, well, I didn't know how. And they're going to say, well, I'm not going to pay you. Doesn't work out well for anybody, right? So look for ways to avoid that. But number one, don't just wait. Ask questions. You have to ask questions. You have to step outside your comfort zone. You have to be able to take the initiative. Americans, again, as a whole, are going to expect you to ask questions when you know what to be proactive, and to take initiative. And if you don't do those things, if you just do the minimums, or worse, don't do anything because you're not sure what to do, it's going to fail. So a very common self-limiting belief that I see is that I need to wait before I do anything. Okay, the last one, number 5, I'm not worth the work I do. This is a very common limiting belief that I see, especially among newbie VAs. Filipinos just don't know their value. How much should you be worth? I mean, and the range of what you can get paid is all over the place, right? As a general rule, I tell a Filipino, you shouldn't take less than $4 US an hour. For anything less than that, you're getting taken advantage of. And as you get better, as you work with that client longer, as you build more skill, you should require higher compensation, right? But I'm not worth that. And I'll take anything. I'm desperate, which I understand. People can be desperate. We all need to make money. So you take things that aren't worth your time, that keep you from finding better jobs, working for clients that are just too cheap to pay. All these things happen. But if you know your worth, if you know what your market value is, if you're a good Filipino video editor and you're not making $4 an hour, you're shooting yourself in the foot. If you're really good at Instagram engagement, at Facebook engagement, at least $4 an hour, if not more, right? And again, you can start for that as long as there's some kind of path forward. I tell my new hires that we start at 4 on a lot of our jobs, but if you're going to stick around, it's going to go up, right? We're going to have pay raises. You're going to have ability to become full-time employed if you want. You're going to start getting benefits like healthcare and 13 months salary and all that kind of stuff if you stick around past the 6 months. These are the kind of things you want to look for because this will help you know your worth. So you won't sit there wondering, what am I worth? I'll take anything because I don't know what my worth is, and I won't bargain and I won't negotiate, and I'll just get frustrated and won't make enough money that is worth the time I spend doing something. We shouldn't be there, right? So as a Filipino VA, know your worth, know your market rate, know what other people that are doing the same thing you're doing are getting paid, and make sure you get paid at least that. So that's my 5 tips for today on how to conquer some of these self-limiting beliefs. If you're a Filipino VA and you want to work for American business clients, which you should because you're going to get paid in dollars, you're going to have somebody who's most likely going to be ability to help you grow in the job. You're going to have somebody that's going to be doing something fun to work on. If you find that kind of client, it's going to be for the long term, and you're going to be very successful if you don't get hung up on these limiting beliefs. So I want to thank you for your time. Please drop any comments you have below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel. I'll be back again soon with more tips for Filipino virtual assistants. So I want to thank you for your time. Now get out there and have an amazing day.